Hey, so I'm here to talk about one specific scene from the book Magician's Impossible. And that scene is the scene when they are in the Louvre in Paris trying to find the Spear of Destiny. Now, some context for this scene is that the Spear of Destiny is this all powerful object that is said that the hands of someone can then easily control the universe. And at this point, Jason, who's the main character, is with the invisible hand, and they're trying to get it before the Golden Dawn does, who is their enemy. And the way Jason was told is that Golden Dawn wants the spear to cause utter control, like utter chaos throughout the world, and the Invisible Hand don't want that. So obviously, Jason, being a nice person, doesn't want that either. So he helps them with trying to find the Spear of Destiny, and so eventually he gets shown these paintings, and they're all like famous paintings, but they have nothing in common. They're just paintings. But when he's showing them all, Jason's able to see a bunch of these like symbols that are with the painting, and but he's the only one that can see it. No one else can see him, and he has no one can translate these symbols. But then these symbols, there's not enough characters for them to translate into English, but you can translate them into Latin. So they go work on that, and at the same time they try to figure out what the significance of all these paintings are, and so and eventually, after like things happen, Jason gets a lot of time to himself, and he thinks on where, like, what all these patrons can have in common and what they could do with that. And then he realizes, thinking back to other times during a book he read at one point, that he remembers seeing all these games before, all the names of these paintings, and seeing these paintings before. All these paintings he realizes are in the Louvre. Every single one of these paintings that he was shown that has a symbol were in the Louvre. So then he tells Carter, who's the boss of the Invisible Hand, and everyone else that the spear is in the Louvre, and they need to go get it. So they send out two teams. One team, like with two team of mages, and each team is composed of five mages. One team is there to go to a different location to throw off the Golden Dawn, so that way they don't want the Golden Dawn knowing that they're going after the Spear of Destiny. And the other team is there to actually find the Spear of Destiny. And Jason's the sixth member of the team because he's really not a member of the team. They have the five members with Jason there to just get the sphere. And each member is a different kind of mage. There's five classes of mage. Adept, which is just like simple stuff like seeking in the shadows, pickpocketing, like normal magic tricks like pulling a rabbit out of the hat, that kind of stuff. Each mage level builds upon the next, so every the next mage level can do the same thing as the bottom levels can. So Archmage is the next one. They can basically lift stuff up. They can levitate anything, push it, pull it to them. They can just control wherever it is and just levitate it. That's what they can do. That's the Archmage. Then you have the Enchanter, the Enchanter basically they can see a person, they can note down their features in their head, and then they can like transform their appearance into that person. So they basically shapeshift into that person's form, so they become the appearance of that person. Warseer, they can teleport. They can picture where they want to teleport, where they're standing, the things around them, the feel of it, and they can just blink and teleport to that exactly. They can just blink into that exactly. So that's what they can do. And then Diabolus, that's the leader of the group. And the Diabolus can control metal, so that anything that metal they can control. So they can control bronze statues, metal like graying, stuff like that. Then Jason at this point he's only learned up to Archmage. That's all he was taught. So he can do everything a Adept can, like sneak into the shadows, do simple magic tricks, like pickpocket, and he can levitate stuff. That's what he can do. But there's another skill that Jason has that like the book never really explains it. The only thing we know is that his father was a very powerful mage and had another ability that no one knew about. And it's assumed from what we can tell that Jason has inherited this power as well, and that's the only explanation we get because otherwise the book never really explains it. But either way, they go to each of the paintings in the order that he saw the code. The order that saw the code, so like the right order, like from the first letter to the last letter of the code of the letters he saw, the symbols on the paintings, he goes in that specific order. And yeah, the first painting he ends up going to is the Astronomer, by Vermeer. And he's sitting there looking at it, wondering how it happens, and somehow he ends up taking his soul and goes in physically into the painting. You can see himself like through a window, through the actual painting itself while he's in it, and the rest of the painting is dark, but the painting's there, and he's looking through all the painting, and he noticed a symbol in the painting. Like he noticed a symbol in the painting, and so he's like, okay, that's kind of strange. But he looks down what the symbol is. He comes out, goes to the next painting, and does the same thing. Goes inside it and finds another symbol, and then he realizes that these symbols together point to where the spear is located inside the Louvre, because the spear is located inside the Louvre. So they go from painting to painting to painting, like a bunch of different paintings. He hangs off at the Mona Lisa, takes the last symbol, and hangs over to find the spear, which is located in the bronze statue. Located in the statue, Hercules battling Ichillos. Right, Ichillos. So he's in that statue, and they find the spear there, and at the same time, the Golden Dawn appears. And the Golden Dawn attacks him. Of course, Jason, like he was told, assumes that they're after the spear. So and the Golden Dawn's been after Jason. Jason just assumed that they wanted him because they knew he had some sort of ability to find the sphere, like the Invisible Hand did. And so they end up getting into this big brawl, which is nice, which is a really, and they really, the author does go into depth with this, which I do like. There's like that's the one thing about this book. There's a lot of different fight scenes that the author goes into depth with, and this is no exception. There are you can see the multiple fights of the different mages as they fight with the Golden Dawn. Which the Golden Dawn, they're not mages; they're just normal people that have tattoos on their arm, and they just spout incantations, and then magic happens. They're not naturally born mages that just have the magic in them that are able to do these things. They have to recite a spell in order to activate this magic. But they're still a force to be reckoned with. They can still be pretty powerful if they want to be. So there's a huge brawl that breaks out in the Louvre. Where a bunch of them are after Jason. Jason thinks they're after the sphere, so he's closely trying to protect the sphere as much as possible. At the same time, like the war seer that's on his team, Tio, he's pretty cool because he just blinks into the air, kicks the guy, blinks out, then kicks the guy again. That's some pretty cool. It's just a really nice scene of just a bunch of magic fights, including using including using the sphere, using like the statue itself to because this book does get gory at times, but not like it does get a little gory at times. It uses the spear to impale this dude on the statue, basically end up killing him. And there's other dude that's after him, and so Allegra, who's the leader of Jason's team that he's on, who's the Diabolist, like she tells him to just go run, get the spear out of there, because they don't want the Golden Dawn to get their hands on the sphere. Jason's running out at the same time, meeting with Golden Dawn members, fighting them, and but then like the of course because there's a commotion coming on in the Louvre, like people fighting and explosions happening. They have like this big security force coming, and there's not really much to worry about because we were told before that anytime that there's a fight between the two magic users, because it's balance and chaos, like just everything restores itself. So anything broken will return, any memories will be lost, any like physical proof, like videos or pictures of what's going on, will be completely erased without any trace. So there's nothing really to worry about. But at the time, they're just trying to get away before like the balance restores everything. And so like this security force comes in, they're trying to get away. At the same time, he's being chased by a Golden Dawn member, and so he's running out as they're closing these big metal doors. He's running out as they're closing it, and he ends up before he tried to learn how to do a war seer stuff and couldn't make it work. But now he was thinking back on what he was told on how to like blink and teleport as a war seer. He's thinking back on how to do it, and at the same time, the guy grabs onto him. He ends up blinking and successfully does it through the metal door. But unfortunately, since the guy didn't do it correctly with him, the guy gets stuck in the metal door and basically dies. So that's happens. Eventually, he gets out, and then Allegra comes in, riding on a big like bronze thing, like metal horse that she got from the Louvre to help him with the security force, and he just tells him to get away. And from there, he runs through the Louvre, like he runs out of the Louvre, runs out into the street, keeps blinking, 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 and then finally realizes he's being watched because, of course, the Golden Dawn can always find him. They were told earlier, and goes onto a train. At the same time, he finds that he sees a guy that doesn't really have any family, doesn't really have much stuff, and takes this, like, he uses his adept skills as an adept to pickpocket him, takes his card, and basically because he's a war seer, which is one above an enchanter, he realizes, oh, if I can do this, then I can do the enchanter, and thinks about what he was told on how to be an enchanter, and he ends up performing it for the first time well. So this fight is important for Jason as a character because he awakens two of his magic powers, which is awesome. And then from there, he goes on the train and finds him. But the leader of the Golden Dawn, who is dubbed the Red Queen, ends up finding him, and then threatens to basically kill all the people on the train if Jason doesn't surrender to her and come like go where she wants him to go. And so him being a kind-hearted person doesn't want those people to die, so he stops and follows the orders and ends up heading to the catacombs, and that's the end of this scene. And so I just think that this scene is really cool because it has a bunch of interesting things that happen and like weird, weird cool things like shows all the art that's in the Louvre, incorporates that into the story, which is nice. This weird ability of Jason's that we never really hear or mention of again. And then of course we get this is the first of like maybe like two, I think three from what I remember, the first of like three like big battles with other mages, which is nice because it's like of course you hear this book and you think of, oh, it's Mission Impossible but with like magic, so you want to see choreographed fight scenes with magic, which is really which is what they do deliver here. It's it's a very fun part to read as the fight goes on and different things happening. Plus, it's very exciting before. It's very important for Jason's character because Jason's character at this time didn't like he was only focusing on his first two things as a mage and thought that he wasn't sure if that was the only if he could go higher, if he could push himself to go higher or not. Especially since his dad was a diabolist and like a very powerful mage at that, and so he was worried that he wasn't going to live up to what his dad was, like what his father was. And so this is very important for him because he ends up unlocking both of these tricks, meaning that he can definitely go farther. And they may possibly even be able to go up to Diabolus like his father. So this is important for him because he realizes that yes, I can push myself. I can go farther than I am. This is not the end for me. I can keep pushing myself to go further, which is a good moral lesson. Just never stop trying. Always trying to push yourself harder, but don't push yourself too hard. Just make sure you push yourself hard to achieve your goals. Otherwise, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're just gonna stay the same person for life. Well, that's about it. I just thought that this is a really cool scene and it's one of the best ones. This is definitely a must see, like must read if you read this book. This is a good scene and one of the best scenes in the book in my opinion. But yeah, either way, uh, that's it for this. I don't know how to end this, so just end it. Bye.